I guess that the core point of this module is clear right now. You can use ChatGPT to generate content, to generate text for you for many different purposes. Therefore, the goal of the next lectures is mainly to give you examples what this means for you. So which types of content you can produce with the help of ChatGPT. Diving into the details behind the prompts is not the core focus now. It's all about the examples to give you something at hand to integrate ChatGPT into your daily work. In the next lecture, we will see how ChatGPT revolutionizes, a big word, but at least it makes things easier, so how it revolutionizes job-related writing. What does this mean? For example, from the perspective of potential employees. There, you could use ChatGPT to create a standout CV. Of course, ChatGPT cannot change your education and your working experience, but it can create a great frame, so to say, so a well-structured CV where you can then add your experience. Regarding applications, you can of course also use ChatGPT to write compelling cover letters. These cover letters enhance your CV and of course should show why you are the perfect person for the position you are applying for. If we talk about the employee perspective, we can of course also use ChatGPT as employers. This means if we have to write a job offer for a new position in our company, ChatGPT can help us to do this. We only have to provide the core facts of the offer, working hours, topic, salary, etc. And then ChatGPT should come up at least with a great draft that we can build on. Once we found the right candidate, we can also use ChatGPT to write contracts. Here we have to be careful though, because obviously ChatGPT is not a human being and therefore it's not a lawyer. So this contract part is something I want to show you, but still the law side is something you have to be aware of. So your contract has to meet the working laws in the country where you live. And a more general thing, ChatGPT can also help us to write work-related emails. We covered this already in the course. I just want to give you one or two more examples at hand in the next lectures. So this is how ChatGPT revolutionizes job-related writing. So let's have a look at some example prompts now. Let's get started with writing CVs. Now, as always, you could start simple with write me a CV to apply for a new job. No big surprise, this would work and would give you an okay result actually. But typically you have a clear vision of your CV and how you want to present yourself. Therefore, we'll use a more advanced prompt here for our CV structure. So let's edit our prompt and let's add this prompt instead. This gives a bit more information to ChatGPT about the way the CV should be structured. As always, you can tailor this according to your needs, but with that more structured prompt, we should get, well, a different looking CV, but let's see what the result looks like. So this isn't too different from the first draft that we had with the simpler prompt. This is probably due to the fact that a CV is what it is. It basically always follows a certain structure. Nevertheless, you find a more elaborated example for the professional summary, for example. And more importantly, as I mentioned, you can use this template here, so to say, to add your education and working experience. Things become a bit more exciting if we leave the CV and try to create a cover letter with the help of ChatGPT. Here, I'll again use a basic version like write me a cover letter. So this again is a pretty generic cover letter which you can use as a starting point, but I recommend to add a lot more information to this cover letter. For example, like this. So we add things that should be highlighted in the cover letter. It should focus on the candidate's strength in this area, and it should also contain details about the previous working experience of the candidate and of the achievements he or she had. I keep it simple here, but you should add all the things you achieved in your previous job to mention these in the cover letter. If the cover letter becomes too long, you can of course also define a limit of words as we learned it. Generally, you should add a lot of information in here to make the cover letter more individual and to stand out from other people, because in the end you want the job, right? And this now is a pretty decent template for a cover letter, I would say. Obviously, this is not the final result, so you should definitely fine-tune this, add more information about yourself and about the company, for example, but it gives you a great starting point within seconds, and that's the revolutionary thing about ChatGPT in my opinion. It makes getting started so much easier. So now we switch the position, now we are employers and we are looking for new candidates to join our company. Writing job offers is not the most exciting thing to do. Why don't we use ChatGPT for this purpose? This time I won't show a simple prompt like write me a job offer. Here I want to be a bit more explicit. For example, like this. So we need a job offer for a position as head of marketing in a company in the tech industry, and the job offer should emphasize the company's commitment to the learning environment, to collaboration, to teamwork, and so on. So you should include all the things the company or the position offers for the potential employee. We get a pretty detailed job offer here. It's not a very emotional job offer that attracts a lot of people, I would say. If your target employee for the head of marketing is a bit younger, a bit more creative, so to say, you should maybe rephrase this. Also, the job title here, head of marketing, that's a bit too boring. We need a more fancy title or headline for this job offering. Therefore, we could say this is okay, but you are looking for people between 30 and 40, so a relatively young group still. Rephrase this to attract a younger audience and also update the title. It should be creative, immediately catch the attention of potential employees. Something like this. You can of course rephrase this as you prefer. Marketing Maestro, lead the symphony of success. Maybe a bit over the top, but better as the initial title. But now we see that the writing is a lot more emotional, a lot more energized. So once again, you can adjust the initial version not only from a content perspective, but also from a tone perspective. And to continue this logically, if you found the right person for the job, you of course need to have a contract that should be signed. Now, as mentioned on the slide, the contract part is a bit tricky, because there are definitely legal things to consider, and I won't dive into these here as I'm not a lawyer. So I just want to give you one example prompt to get a working contract, but use ChatGPT carefully for such purposes. So in such a prompt, you can then refer to the job offer that we just wrote, so you don't have to re-add it in here. You should of course include what should be part of the contract, and you can add a legal part in the prompt, but as I said, that's of course not the end of the story. In the end, you have to check this internally with your respective lawyers. But with this, you have one chat where you can easily create a job offer and then base the actual working contract based on the offer you created. So this can all be done within seconds, and this definitely makes things a lot more easier than they were before. And we could now fine-tune this, but we won't do that as mentioned, because for me, the important thing was that you now understood that you can use ChatGPT to apply for a job or to find potential employees for a company. So we got the application, we got the employment. What's missing now is quitting the job. It's always difficult to do something like this, especially you want to write the email or the letter in a respectful way, but still in the end you quit your job, and therefore having a helper that does the work for you here is of course very welcome. You could of course make things easy and say something like, write me an email where I quit my job. And once again, the initial result is definitely far from bad, but we can do better. So we'll again edit our initial prompt and now add this here, for example. I have the same beginning, but I share more details about the company. I also share that I enjoyed the job, but I quit because I got a better offer from a competitor. So this is something that I of course don't want to disclose to my employer, but still it's hard for me to find the right words, to find another reason why I quit. Therefore, I let ChatGPT do the job. I mentioned some examples where I grew in the company and that I wish my colleagues all the best and hope to see them again in the future. So with this, we have a more personal goodbye email, so to say. And therefore, as we learned it, if you share the details behind your request, ChatGPT will deliver better results and especially also less generic sounding results for the specific task that you have. And as we've seen here, ChatGPT understood, it doesn't really understand it, but let's keep it this way, that we need a reason why we quit. And I don't want to mention the better salary. It's just a new opportunity that aligns with my long-term career goals, which is totally fine, I guess. ChatGPT also includes other aspects like the one with the team that we included. So with this, you can fine-tune your email here and get things done quickly. Because that's what ChatGPT is all about, actually. It helps us to write texts, write emails, and whatever kind of content you need faster and save your time.